Hello and welcome back to the Coaches Show on KBPK. Fullerton College Futbol has a playoff matchup coming up this Saturday, 7 p.m. start. That means we got to break it all down for you and get you set and ready to roll for that matchup. But we also got to talk to the student athletes and get a feeling for what this season was like and how they're looking forward to Saturday. We got all that and more right here on the Coaches Show. So we're here with the goalkeepers here at Fullerton College. Guys, when you look at this season, your guys' group has been one of the most interesting across the entire state. It seems like no matter who's playing, you guys keep a lot of quality, and that's shown in the stats. When you look at Orange Empire Conference play, how difficult was it to go up against opponents who you're going to see twice in a row?
It was pretty hard, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's hard.
When you look at the Orange Empire Conference, is there one team that you guys looked at and said, okay, these were the toughest two matchups that we had to play?
I feel like everyone was equal. We couldn't really underestimate anybody. We had to prepare for everybody equally the same, but we trusted the staff, everybody, and we just improved every single day.
When you mentioned that improvement, I see both of you guys have very different styles when it comes to communicating with your back line. I know for yourself, at least from what I've observed, a lot more vocal, a lot of talking to that back line, almost a conversation, if you will. Is that something that you learned as you came up in the goalkeeping position from the younger levels?
I believe so. I also believe I learned that as well from the coaches, from Coach Greg, Coach Kenny. They also helped me be able to develop that as well, and I was able to improve that into my game.
When I switch it over to you, I see a lot of reflexes, a lot of different angles that you were able to choose, and then also use that athleticism to your advantage. How did you develop your goalkeeping style?
For me, just putting in the work, I like focusing on my mobility to see since I am a shorter keeper, I want to make sure that I could focus on my strengths so I could apply in the field.
When you mentioned those strengths, what would you say is your biggest strength when you're out there?
I think just the passion for the game, just wanting to give it all every time out there.
When I look at the Hornets, I see you guys as obviously top 2 team in the state of California. But do you guys as student athletes even pay attention to those rankings?
I don't really think we do. We mainly focus on what we have present. We don't really focus on okay, you know what, let's make it top 1, let's make it top 2. No, we just focus on ourselves. It's about us. At the end of the day, we don't care about what everyone else thinks. It's about us, about not only us just becoming better soccer players, but also becoming men at the end of the day.
You mentioned becoming men at the end of the day. That's one thing that Greg Aviles has always talked to us here on the Coaches Show. He's not just worried about your guys' football careers, but he's also worried about you guys overall as men, academics as well. How does he help you guys kind of go from that transition of, hey, high school person to well-developed athlete going into society?
I think he does a good well with that because he pretty much makes everything into a life setting, puts almost life perspective, making it seem this can happen in life. Yes, this happens in soccer, but this also occurs in life. And he also does something that I personally like very much. He does Monday Bible studies, and I think that helps us a lot. And not only does it help us individually, but it also helps the whole team as a whole as well.
Jonathan, when I bring it over to you, what was it about Fullerton College that kind of attracted you to the program?
Honestly, it would be the goalkeeper coach, Mike Bautista. That was the reason I'm here. He brought me here from South Central to right here.
I mean, when you mention Mike Bautista, is there one thing that you look at and you say, okay, this is one thing he's worked on with me at the start of the season, and now looking back, I can see those results?
I think his biggest aspect in his training is to just be a better person, just be a good human being, and that's the most important thing there is.
Now, when I look at the goalkeeping position, you guys get the most equipment, most style, if you will, of anyone on the team. Now, when I look at both of your guys' gloves, how do you choose what you want in terms of gloves? Because to me, as a fan, all I see is just a couple of pairs of mitts. But I know gloves are a reflection of the personality of a goalkeeper. So how do you guys choose that?
Honestly, I think it just matters how well it fits with you. If it's too tight for me, I don't think I can wear that. If it feels kind of too loose, it has to feel just it has to feel just right. Like almost feel like, you know, I feel comfortable in this. Like I feel good with myself in this. And also you have to look good in it as well. That's another thing too.
Now, a few moments ago, I asked Misa who has the best looking boots on the team. So I gotta hear from you guys.
Honestly, probably Pedro. He got the white ones, the all white Adidas. I think those ones are the nicest ones. Yeah. Pedro,
I say Pedro too. Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Good luck on Saturday. And we look forward to seeing you in the round after.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. We're with Angel Sevillano. Angel, when you look at the captaincy band, obviously in the game of football, it's a big deal. But when you look at the Hornets, what does that feeling of putting the armband feel like for you?
Well, for me, it's a big responsibility. Also, I know like the captains that they've wear this band before me, and I have a lot of respect for them. C.J. Wood, Stevie Perez, Cooper Clark, the three guys before me, they were great captains, and they kind of build a culture that we're trying to keep nowadays, and it's kind of showing with the results and everything we're trying to get right now. So I think it's a big responsibility, and it's showing that the culture that they established, we're trying to keep it this year. So.
You mentioned Cooper last year. We got to talk to him when he himself was wearing that armband. Was there anything that you looked towards last year's team to help you understand your leadership style?
Well, last year I didn't really see it that way, but this year I had a lot of communication with Cooper. He's been talking to me like a lot, trying to help me in all this process because he knows how it is to be a captain also. And sometimes when I fall, it was getting a little harder. He was also always like trying to check on me and make sure everything was fine. So for me, Cooper is a role model in that aspect, and he's been great help for me this year.
When you look at your high school career, lots of success there. You bring it over to Fullerton College. Obviously, you guys are having a lot of success this year. But when you look at the last 2 years that you've been with Fullerton College, how are you going to look back on your time here at Fullerton?
Well, I'm gonna be really proud, to be honest. Like when I came from high school, as you said, I only played 1 year high school. So coming from high school, I didn't expect it. All these things that are happening to us, like my high school team, I really liked it, but we didn't make it to CIF or we weren't that good in league or anything. So this is special for me. I was telling to some of the guys that this is not normal, like to have a team #1 in rankings for so long, and so I think it's special. And once a Hornet, always a Hornet. So I think I'm gonna remember it with great memories and really good stuff. Yeah.
Is there any memory for you on the pitch that is going to stick out?
I'm gonna need to say last year's IBC game at IBC. It was raining. It was like it was the last game. If we win that game, we were gonna win league. So I had the chance to score a header after coming from a concussion. So I'm winning the league at IBC with all the teammates and all the memories we had. For me, that was a great game, and I'm gonna take it with me.
You talk about winning league. This year, you guys do it again, back-to-back conference champions in the Orange Empire Conference. And you had a hand in that, too. You look at that game. What was it like to be able to go with your teammates, look at that banner up there, and say, hey, I was a part of both these two teams?
Well, I'm super proud about it. I'm really happy to have been able to share the pitch with these players both years. I think we had great two teams, and obviously what we're showing it this year and also last year, I think we had a really strong team that was able to compete for state, and I think we have a similar. It's similar this year. I think we also have a team that could compete for state, so I'm excited to keep going and see how far we can get.
The back line for you guys, doesn't matter who you guys put in. It's always strong. You look at guys like Garrett, like Nathan, like yourself, Evan, Aldo. What's it like being a part of a unit like that a lot of people look at and say is the best in the state of California?
Well, I think it gives us a lot of confidence when we step on the field. I think we already know we're like a solid team, and the way we practice every day, the way our coaches make us do the stuff, like get ready and prepare for the games, I think is what gives us that extra confidence, and we try to show it like, oh, we're like the line, whoever is playing, like doesn't matter who plays, we know that we're gonna try to do a good job, and we're gonna give everything to keep our goal like without conceding goals against. So it doesn't matter who plays, we know we are all ready, and we have full confidence on whoever steps on the field.
Now, you talk about being ready. Before we get to Saturday, I talked with Misa, talked with Jonathan, talked with Mario, said who's got the best looking boots on the team? So I got to hear from you.
There's some guys like Misa and Pedro. They had a new Adidas I really like, but Gael was showing. He was wearing some Messi boots today. I think those are the best right now. So
Are you a Messi fan?
I like Messi. I'm a Ronaldo fan, but I have a lot of respect for both of them. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
you. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see you on Saturday.
Thank you.
I'm being joined by Misa. And Misa, when you take a look at the end of the season, you guys got your first conference loss. A lot of people thought you would go undefeated in conference because you had such a good stretch, but you get the rebound win to end the season. How do you take that momentum from that win and bring it into the postseason?
I mean, we just had to get that loss. I feel like because we're on a very high momentum, so we just felt like we were unstoppable. But I feel like that just helped us, like a checkpoint to realize that we aren't who we think we are, and we have to prove it each game. So moving on, I feel like we'll keep that in mind, so we won't feel that way.
When you look at the Orange Empire Conference, a lot of people look at the OEC and say that's the toughest conference in the nation. How was the last 2 years of OEC play like for you?
It's very competitive, I'd say. Freshman year, I struggled more, less experience, but I feel like this year I picked it up much more, and it's been very successful as a team.
When you look at your play style, a lot of times we'll see guys like Angel or Evan who just toss the ball up to you. It's your job to go and get it and distribute, or at least create the different openings on offense. Is that your play style that they're kind of leaving it up to?
I mean, so far, I feel like I've been like a target man, I'd say. But more recently, teams have been like double teaming or doing a different tactics to like man mark me, I say. So we're trying to like build around it and try to include more attacking players, so I won't be the only one like getting focused on.
When you mention that, a lot of times in community college, you don't see a true target man, a true 9, a true 10, all those 3 different guys who have different play styles, have different styles as well overall. What's it like being, like you mentioned, a target man in a community college level, which usually isn't used to seeing guys like that?
I mean, it just makes me realize I'm a special player, I'd say. But I mean, it's hard to play out of because I mean you're obviously not used to it. But just try to do my best each game and try to play around it as much as I can.
With the captaincy, you and Angel both get to wear that armband. What's it like to know that you are given that leadership position on this team?
It feels great. I mean, I wanted to be captain since last year, so I knew this year was a big opportunity to step up and take the armband, and luckily coaches let me have it.
You're looking at postseason coming up on Saturday night. How do you prepare for a postseason matchup?
Throughout the week, I feel like this week I've been preparing differently than I have any other games, just mentally, physically on the field. And at home, stretching, eating good, preparing myself. And since we have a night game, usually around 7, around that time, I just start getting like a workout in to prepare my body to be active at like 7 p.m., around that time.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because when you look at different athletes across not just the OEC but also California, they're used to playing 12 o'clock, 3 p.m. games, but you guys have a lot of 6 p.m. home games. Is that something where you looked at the schedule before the season and said, I got to get my body in a clock where it's used to being active at that time?
Yeah, definitely, because around 4 or 5 p.m. I'm already like a little sleepy and this and that, but I just started preparing my body to be more active around 6, 7 p.m. and I feel like I've been doing a good job, so it's been working. Yeah.
2 years with the Hornets. You get to meet all the different people across the staff, not only with soccer, but you get the athletic training staff, people like Lorena, who you get to interact with a lot. How do you reminisce on your time as a Hornet overall?
Well, no, it's been a great 2 years. Honestly, I'm very happy with my decision. I feel like this is one of the best programs I've ever been at. And just all the staff, trainers, they all treat you well. They all have respect. And just the memories just keep coming along each way. They're all great. Yeah.
Now, I saw on Instagram recently you got a commit. What was that entire process like for you?
Well, it all started having a great season, obviously. Just training hard during preseason, working hard. And I feel like everything just paid off, just game by game, and just I was just looking like at all my opportunities, and I feel like UCI was the best one, so that's what I took.
You mentioned those opportunities. Greg Aviles always talks to us about making sure that his student athletes get a chance not just to go play soccer at a different level, but you get that opportunity to get that extra education. University of California for yourself coming up in just a little bit. What's it like to be able to play under Greg Aviles, knowing that he's not just worried about your soccer, he's also worried about how you're going to fare at the next level overall?
Well, no, yeah, we have Coach, he cares about both. Mainly on what you're going to do after soccer, because he knows that soccer ends at one point. So he's always trying to help us prepare for what's after soccer, not just soccer in general. So I feel like UCI was a great school academically and soccer-wise, so that was just my choice.
Now myself, I slipped up, I said soccer. We've had a lot of football Fridays, as we call it here on KBPK. As an athlete who is playing football, who is kind of grown up with the sport, is there any preference or at least different style that you have seen going up from level to level to level now at community college?
I just feel like it gets more physical and it just gets faster. That's pretty much the two big differences I've noticed.
You mentioned that speed, like you were talking about earlier. You're a target man. You have to use that speed to your advantage. When you describe your speed and your style, is it a quickness, that first step that for you that gives you that edge, or is it more just that extra speed towards the entire sprint?
I feel like it's more speed off the entire sprint, because I'd say like the first 2-3 steps were very close, but on the long run I feel like I take off.
Now on a lighter note, who's got the most stylish boots on the team?
Of course I do.
There you go. Well, thank you, Misa. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Thank you.
And we want to thank each of the student athletes, Misa, Jonathan, Mario, and Angel as well, for joining us here on the Coaches Show. It's a big-time matchup for Fullerton College as they get set to play Santa Barbara City College right behind me at Hal Scherbeck Field. That's a 7 p.m. start on Saturday. When you look at Fullerton College, of course, this entire season, we've been a part of Football Fridays, and it's been a joy to be able to go out and see this team progress from the start of the season until now. But the biggest test is this Saturday to start things off. It's the number 2 ranked Hornets in the state Southern California Regional taking on the number 15 ranked Santa Barbara City College Vaqueros. When you look at Santa Barbara City College, they have a very good lethal attack. They can defend well as well. And if you're Fullerton College, you've got to be able to make sure that your back line is your strongest unit throughout the entirety of the game. That's what's going to lead them to the state Final Four. If they can get there, you're going to hear a lot from that back line. Talked to Angel just a few moments ago. As you heard, this is a Fullerton College team that, well, plain and simple, they were ranked number 1 for a very long time this season. An almost unprecedented run in Fullerton College football history. It'll be interesting to see how they fare Saturday night. Don't forget, you can watch that right here on KBPK, a 7 p.m. start. It's no longer Football Fridays because it's the Southern California Regionals. Fullerton College, if they have any home matches in the playoffs, we will be here. KBPK will live stream it for you right here on this YouTube channel. So don't go too far. If you want to keep up to date with our Instagram page where we will have more announcements on dates and times, you can do that at 90.1 KBPK. Well, until 7 p.m. on Saturday night, that's going to do it for us here on the Coaches Show. We want to thank Misa, we want to thank Angel, Jonathan, and Mario as well for joining us here on the Coaches Show this week. Don't forget, 7 p.m., it's Fullerton College Futbol here on KBPK. And you've been watching the Coaches Show on KBPK.